Hi, welcome back. This is the second part of the video talking about the conversion of Dungeon Raider to MS-DOS. The previous video discussed the conversion or the migration from using Microsoft C4 to Turbo C2 using the DosBox emulator. So let me go through the what I've had to do to start doing the conversion. I've got some notes here. So I grabbed hold of the project, put everything in source, have my config, my Python script, I should say, doing the compilation. That's all good. So I've configured all that stuff. The source code is all dumped into here. So the first thing I did was modify the some of the file names so they're 8.3 compatible, so it doesn't look weird on in DOS mode. I removed the sound library, so there's no sound at all. It's just easier to just factor it out. The biggest change was converting all of the // comments to /*//. So if you look at a comparison of the old original version to the new one, there's a lot of them that are that. As I go through it, you know, there's lots and lots and lots. A lot of code is the same. That's fine. But there's a lot of instances where there's these comments. So, for example, that was an inline comment there has to be changed to with the /*//, which is annoying, but you know, that's it. I suppose in the future, I just keep it all in that format and remember to do it that way rather than inline. Does it matter that much? Probably not. It makes switching things on and off a bit more complicated. So in debug mode, it's just a // to switch it off. Or in here you've got to do a /*//. Bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So that's the biggest change. Then I defined a MS-DOS flag which I used to toggle it. So I defined that at the start. So when I'm compiling for MS-DOS, that it likes it. I changed some of the screen setup stuff. So it uses a call here to text mode. Color 40, which is the 40 line display. So when you're running under DOS, it goes from the standard 80 column down to 40. That's part of the DOS header library. So I've included those at the top. Got rid of the Unity one. I've included DOS in there. That's all good. What else did I do? So then I moved all the sound routines away to ignore them. So if I show you what that looks like, so here I had a command for generic command for playing sound effects in the 8-bit Unity framework, but here I've just said, okay, if it's MS-DOS, then don't do anything. So most of it is just blank. So if you see these, and there's a few of them, mostly it's just empty because I don't want anything on the sound at this point. So you see here, there's a custom bit for Commodore. There's the MS-DOS stuff, and then the default. So everything else, which may come in the future. I will obviously revisit this and make that work. I have some examples of sound, and they're just beeps at the moment in different frequencies. So I've got to come up with a nicer way of doing that. What else? The other change was I defined a macro called in-key, which is actually that. So I always use a char value variable called k, which gets the keyboard data. So by default, if it's MS-DOS, it's using get ch. Otherwise, it's using c get c. So I didn't want to do it this way, but you know what? I know it's always that. So that just seemed the easiest. So I just do that, so I know that is going to be k. So if I do a peek on that one, you can see here that it will it's expanding. So there's a macro there. So I go to the definition. If it's DOS, it uses this one here, and that works exactly the same. The other change was the file open command is part of the Unity framework. It's sort of a high speed. Oops, I'm going to get in the right one. It's a high-speed file opening mechanism where it fast-winds stuff into a buffer. I haven't done it this way. The DOS handling so far is pretty flipping quick. So if I'm targeting 8286, 8288 machines as well, I have to do some testing on that, bench testing. 4.7 meg stuff might be slow. I'll address that as and when. Obviously, my emulator is quick, so to get things working, I've just used a very standard way. In fact, that is the same as the previous video's example of getting that data in. So there's that one, and there's also this one here, the same sort of thing where I'm reading the stuff byte, character by character out of the file pointer straight into the buffer. This is for the map loading. I don't like it, but it kind of works. So that's pretty much where I got up to. So if I show you what that looks like, so I'm compiling map.c and mapnames.c, and it works. It's really cool. It works. So I go to help. That works. It's a fast machine, so obviously, modern machine is going to be nice and quick. Now this mostly works. If I start the level, you can see it's starting to work. Right, there's a few things missing, and you can still see the flashing cursor. I've seen some interrupt calls, interrupt 10, I think, in Hex, where you can get rid of the cursor. It doesn't work, so I've got to figure that out. It's also a bit weird with the layout, so I had a bit of a nightmare trying to get this thing to work, and the reason for that is the positions of screen coordinates is different. It's not 0 based, it's 1 based. Let me give you an example. So I previously had this divider thing, which is the bottom line that you see for the status. I switched everything off, basically. I had a list of all the things I switched off. If I put that back to the way it was, sorry, that's the wrong one. So I'm in DOS there. If I put that back to the way it was, where the X is on the far left-hand side, okay, what actually happens is something a bit weird. It jumps up there, and it causes complete chaos. So this position here of this divider, which should be down there, because it's 0, the X is 0, it buggers it all up. It does a line continuation of where it was drawn last, which is really annoying. Anyway, so I'm going to have to do an offset of all of the X and Y values. I think it's just the X values actually that are causing problems. But so I made sure that all of these things were cloned, so I can adjust them if I need to. So that works. But the display problem of the map still needs to be addressed. If we run this again, did I save that? Yeah, I did. Start that. Other than that, this display issue and that flashing cursor, it actually works. It's not displaying at the moment any monsters. That's just because I've switched that off, and you'll see some things disappearing and stuff. There's a few weirdnesses in there. It's not displaying the statuses, and the positioning is all a bit odd. This is part of the map. So again, I think it's the X and Y offset of the text is 1 based, not 0 based. Once I sort that out, everything else should kind of work. I mean, when I was playing with it before, let's see if we can actually put that on now and see what impact that makes. If we go to show NPCs, what I was doing, to show NPCs in the right one. Show NPCs. There's a return in there, so there's a whole load of these that don't do anything. So the move NPC, show NPC as well. Yeah, that doesn't do anything either. So it's not going to show the monsters. It's not going to move the monsters around, and it's just for ease of debugging, really. So once I put those back in fact, let's just try it. So you see that annoying thing. You have to do this with the flaming thing. There we go. Here's what it is. Move. Okay, you can see an orc there wandering about. It's all gone a bit funny. So yeah, that's things I'm going to have to do. But in theory, I should be able to attack that thing and kill it off. Great. So it kind of works. There's obviously a fair bit to do. I've got to do sound. I've got to sort the display out. I've got to think about maybe an installer, because if you're running it from floppy, that's fine. It's fine on a Commodore, fine on a Apple II, no problem. But if you're running it on a DOS machine with a hard drive, it'd be nice if there was some kind of simple installer. You could run it from floppy, absolutely fine. But it'd be nice to have an installer that'll prompt you to, put in the drive information. There's nothing complex with the setup. It just needs to be all the files in the root path. I'm not going to mess with that particularly. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time. Cheers.